It is longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall. It carries more cargo than any vessel in history, 24,000 containers for 100 meters of steel. One ship that redefined what human engineering could achieve at. See, this is the story of how they designed it, built it block by block, and launched it into the world's oceans. Global trade moves 90% of everything humanity consumes across the world's oceans every single year. Trade volumes doubled, then tripled. Shipping companies faced one unavoidable economic reality: bigger ships cost less per container move. A ship twice as large doesn't cost twice as much to operate. The crew size barely changes. Fuel efficiency soar. So shipping companies pushed their shipyards with one relentless instruction: build us something bigger than ever before. Naval architects began with one constraint above all others: the ship must fit through the Suez Canal without modification. Suez Canal allows a maximum beam of 61 meters. The designers used every single centimeter available. Length was pushed to 400 meters, as long as for football fields placed end to end. About a sternth hull form was designed with computational fluid dynamics, millions of simulated water flow calculations optimizing every curve. The bulbous bow alone went through 200 iterations before the final design was approved for cutting. Structural engineering was equally complex. A 400-meter hull flexes and ocean swells. It must bend without breaking under load. Building a ship this size requires a shipyard operating at a scale most people simply cannot comprehend. Fabrication hull alone is larger than 30 football fields inside it. The ship is born in sections called blocks. Steel plates arrive from mills and are first cut by computer-controlled plasma cutters with millimeter precision. A plate is then rolled, bent, and shaped to match the hull form's precise three-dimensional geometry. Robotic welding systems lay down the primary structural welds. Human welders then complete the complex joints, requiring judgment and experience. The ship is not built as one piece. It is constructed in over 100 individual steel blocks. Each block can weigh up to 1,000 tons. Each one is itself a major engineering construction project. Inside each block, all the piping, wiring, and equipment for that section is installed before assembly begins. This is called pre-outfitting. It is far more efficient than trying to install systems after the hull sections are joined together. Each block is built to tolerances of just a few millimeters. Despite weighing hundreds of tons, blocks reach their final tolerances. The mega assembly begins. 1,000-ton cranes lift sections into the dry dock for joining. The dry dock itself is a feat of engineering: a rectangular pit 1 kilometer long, kept dry while surrounded by seawater. Block joins are sealed by teams of welders working simultaneously on both sides of every major joint. Every weld on a critical structural joint is ultrasonically tested before it is accepted. Zero tolerance for imperfection as sections join. The ship's double hull structure becomes visible to parallel hulls, providing safety, ballast space, and structural rigidity simultaneously. At the center of this engineering achievement sits the world's largest marine diesel engine. Ethman B&W engine produces over 80,000 kilowatts, that is equivalent to 100,000 horsepower. Driving a single propeller shaft engine block alone weighs over 2,000 tons. It was installed in the hull using specialized heavy lift equipment. The propeller is 11 meters in diameter, wider than a 3-story building is tall. Cast in bronze. Despite producing over 100,000 horsepower, the engine runs at just 80 revolutions per minute when fully loaded and at sea. The bridge is located 60 meters above the waterline. The crew cannot see the bow from their camera systems. Radar arrays and eyes positioning allow the crew to navigate a 400-meter vessel with precision down to meters. At slow maneuvering speed in port, the ship is controlled by bow and stern thruster systems. The cargo plan for a vessel of this size requires sophisticated computer optimization. No two voyages are loaded the same way. Weight distribution, container contents, destination ports, and vessel stability all determine where every single box is placed. The largest port cranes on Earth load 60 containers per hour. It still takes 2 full days to load. Containers are stacked 24 rows across the deck, reaching 23 layers high above the waterline at maximum capacity after years of construction. The day comes when the dry dock is finally flooded for the first time. As the hull lifts off the keel blocks for the very first time, something extraordinary and primal happens. It floats, the dock gates open, tugboats move into position, and for the first time, this 400-meter vessel meets the open sea. Sea trials test every system: propulsion, steering, emergency stops, navigation, and cargo systems before a single paying customer's box is loaded. The emergency stop test halts the ship from full speed within 3 ship lengths, roughly 1 kilometer, when delivered. This vessel set multiple world records simultaneously. Some of them may never be broken by a single ship. At 24,000 to capacity, it carries more than twice the boxes of a vessel built just 20 years earlier. Despite its size, it is 40% more fuel efficient per container than its smaller predecessors. Carbon emissions per container moved are significantly lower than smaller vessels. Bigger, paradoxically, is actually greener per unit of cargo carried. Building the world's largest ship forced the world's largest ports to completely reinvent their infrastructure. New superposed Panamax cranes had to be built taller and longer reaching than any crane that existed when the ship was designed. Harbor channels had to be dredged deeper. Quayside berths had to be extended longer. Nothing was left unchanged. This ship didn't just move cargo. It forced the entire global logistics system to evolve around it. A crew of just 22 people operates this 400-meter vessel. Automation has transformed what once required hundreds of sailors. The accommodation block contains cabins, a gymnasium, a dining hall, and a recreation room for the entire crew at sea. At sea, a watchkeeper officer can walk the full length of the deck, half a kilometer in one direction. This vessel operates on the Asia-Europe trade route, the world's most valuable single shipping lane by cargo value. In a single voyage, it moves goods that would fill a freight train stretching over 250 kilometers. The goods in its holds might include electronics from China, chemicals from Germany, and clothes from Bangladesh. Every time a ship like this departs, it is quietly carrying a significant fraction of one continent's exports to another. The race for the world's largest container ship has not stopped. New vessels are already under design to surpass this one. Methanol-powered and ammonia-powered vessels are under construction today. The era of fossil fuel shipping is approaching its end. Wind-assisted propulsion systems. Massive rotor sails are being retrofitted to reduce fuel consumption on some of today's largest vessels. The container ship of 2040 may be autonomous, zero-emission, and larger than anything sailing today. This ship was not built by one engineer or one team. It required 40,000 workers over 3 years to complete 300 kilometers of piping, 800 kilometers of electrical cable, 30 million individual welds. One completed vessel. When it finally sailed, it carried not just cargo. It carried proof of what industrial civilization can still achieve. Every port it visits, every route it sails, every box it moves, the world's supply chains depend on it. What surprised you most about how this ship was built? Drop your answer in the comments right below. If this engineering story moved you, subscribe. Every week we go inside the projects that quietly power our civilization.